Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Rossetti and Stewart podcast. Our first episode in a little bit here, but we're so back, and I'm joined today with my colleague, Justin Stewart, and our guest today, Ben Retcofsky. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So this is one of my church friends. He grew up playing baseball. I grew up playing baseball. We love doing pickup, talking Jesus, all the fun stuff. But when we're not talking about those two things, we're talking about God. So it's a cool relationship we have, and we're really happy to be sitting here talking baseball. But Justin, thank you for being aboard as always, too.
Oh yeah, man. I don't have to work tomorrow. Psych. So I always I'm down to always talk sports late at night, and yeah, no, let's bring it. I don't know if you, we kind of texted back and forth yesterday. What'd you think of WrestleMania yesterday?
Oh, night two was good, I thought. I like night two. I
Yeah.
liked the Roman Reigns match was so good. Now the only issue is, will Roman Reigns show up every week? Here's the thing, I'm fine with Roman Reigns as long as he shows up. CM Punk, I kind of was pulling for just so I know he shows up. I thought Jade did really good in her match. I kind of was pulling for Jade. I thought she looked pretty good out there. Um, the Lesnar one, like the same thing with the AJ Styles thing. I wish there was more build up to them retiring, but there's a pretty cool moment for Lesnar to be able to put over Femi. I don't want to talk about the Rhodes main event from night one. I'm only sticking on night two because Pat McAfee should not be there. Randy Orton's one of the best heels of all time. The last thing he needs is some dude from Plum who missed two field goals interfering in that. We should probably cut that because that was.
Oh no, 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 it's all right. Well, I mean, listen, if you're watching the Penguins game, Pat McAfee seemingly moved on from WWE. He's at the game tonight, so
Yeah.
go figure. Bad omen. They look awful tonight. Go figure.
Saturday, people bought $300 seats to see them shoot 17 shots on net. But yeah, back to WrestleMania though. I thought night two was really good though. I thought the ladder match was good. Oh, but Femi looked good. The trick match was fine. I wish it got more time because I thought it was just starting to pick up. And the best moment of the entire show, I may be missing something, but the best moment of the entire show was Danhausen by
Oh,
far.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What do you think? What did you think of it?
Night two, I think the ladder match was really good for the Intercontinental Championship. I thought every match was solid enough. Nothing really overly terrible. You said the main event was awesome. Listen, I've always been a Roman fan. I know, like, piggybacking off what you say, he's very part-time nowadays. And if you listen to the post show after, he said he's gonna be full-time for the summer. Now that can mean a bunch of different things. I don't expect him to be there every week. If he could wrestle like at least maybe like a PLE every month, I would take that at this rate. And to me, like the long game here for Roman, I feel like this is like building towards like an Obafemi Roman Reigns match, maybe at SummerSlam. Kind of like a nice little short reign, not transitional champ, that's not the correct term, but Oba, I think he's so over right now. You kind of have to capitalize on that. And I would honestly have him win King of the Ring, be champ by SummerSlam, if not SummerSlam by WrestleMania next year. So I thought overall it was a really good show. I thought night two was good. So I'm one of those guys. I'll complain, but I'll also give credit where it's due.
Ben, how about you? WrestleMania. Did you tune in?
WrestleMania.
He did not tune in.
Nope.
I don't blame you, man. I
But
really don't.
but that's why we did, so you know.
Thank
Right.
you.
So
Yes,
No,
sir.
I actually understood about nothing of
yeah.
what I just said. I did enjoy listening, so thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
about 3 or 4 years ago, I was in the same spot you were, so I totally know how that feels.
And then you came over to our house every week. And then
Yeah, and that's yeah, that's
now
what
you're
happens.
now you're wasting all your money going to these events with us and WWE shows just to leave. Disappointed, wondering why.
They
Why
do
would
that.
Triple Paul book this one?
They do that in Pittsburgh?
Oh yeah, they come here like two or three
Like
times
twice a year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where?
They usually go to PPG.
Yeah. They their last show I think was in Mar they came here in March. Though
Okay.
the last couple of years they've done holiday tours like their house shows. They've done those the last couple of years in December. Those are actually pretty good. If you ever like just want to do something like just like kill time, I'd go to a house show. Those are actually really fun because they have most of the main roster, like the main eventers, they actually wrestle, and it's just like a really good show. And it's like it's free, it's like free spirit because you're not televised, so there's no restrictions. So they just go out there and have fun, and they mess with the crowd and stuff. Those are house shows are kind of really fun. So
And you don't have to wait during the commercial breaks too, because with
Ah,
live TV, you'll just be sitting there just waiting for them to like or like if it's mid match, they'll just go through like these really slow sequences or in between segments, you're just sitting there waiting. But live shows, it's bang, bang, bang. It just keeps going.
yeah, they have like based off you probably know Tony like 4 or 5 matches in a row. Then they'll give you like a quick like 15-minute break just to pause, regroup yourself, do whatever, and then they do like another 3 4 matches. So it's definitely I definitely wish that's how I don't want to say pay-per-views are run. It's PLEs now, but they're just so much more fun because WWE they're like a strict by the numbers. Everything has to be perfect time wise. So they're just more relaxed. The talent's more relaxed. I think the matches are better, and plus it gives them more reps, which they obviously need nowadays.
And they
So
try stuff. They try stuff
yeah,
there.
mm,
And then so whenever if it works on a live show which isn't recorded, oh, we're gonna try this on live TV since
right,
it's
right.
live. But speaking of what you said, you wish WWE was like that for pay-per-views. Pay-per-views were like that. You used to buy the pay-per-view or watch it on WWE Network. There was no ads. It was match after match after match. But now you have to buy ESPN Unlimited, Peacock, and Netflix all at once.
Oh yeah,
And
no.
so now you're paying for it, and on top of that, like you're paying for ESPN Unlimited. Back
right,
then, you paying for it got rid of the ads for you because it was pay-per-view.
right.
Now you're paying for it and you're getting 4 minute breaks. But speaking of money, pirate tickets are more expensive, but we all still go. So if
Yeah.
you were just a pirate game, just tell me what you think of the Pirates so far and what your experiences have been going to the game so far.
Skiing Cy Young bobblehead night.
I was there too.
Oh yeah, where were
Yeah,
you
it was.
sitting?
I was sitting in 146. So those would be near right field, right field.
Did you
Yeah.
say 126?
No, 146.
Oh, in the outfield. Okay.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yep. I was in 119. I was it's right at kind of on
Or
the
first base,
third base
third base.
side. I had a good view of AJ Burnett sitting down in the seats. Yeah, it was a rain delay, and I feel like I've been to my more than enough rain delay slash extra inning games. I will say I think that was the first time where I was like, because I was not a big fan of the runner on second in extra innings for a while. But after that game, and not even specifically because of that game just being so long, but just watching how that game played out, it made me appreciate that more. I'm like, I think that's actually a pretty solid role.
Yeah, that's an interesting take because I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah.
Because like you met like for example the Jerry Mules game, and
Oh
as any
gosh.
Pirate fan, that
Classic.
changed the entire season. But you play
Yeah.
19 innings for that call to take place with no review. The playoffs, remember Oscar Gonzalez hit the game-winning home run against the Rays a couple years ago. That was 16 innings. But if that's a regular season game, you play 16 innings and then you have to be there the next morning
Yeah.
Right,
for
right.
like let's just say it's a Saturday night game and you have to be back the next morning or stuff like that. It's just 16 innings is crazy and even for the fan like most people are out of there by that time. So
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, the game started at 3:30. They moved it up, and then I don't think the game ended until 10 because of the rain delay. And they lost too, which made it worse. And then Sundays they always play like 1:30 games, so you're thinking they have to be at the ballpark, 2 3 hours before game time, obviously. So yeah, it's definitely a grind. And I do like this the runner on second. It's a long season. We don't need to have 19 inning games every night. It's boring. Not that it's boring. That's not the right word to use, but we just gotta keep it going, man. It's a long season. I'm glad they don't do it for the postseason. I feel like that should be just kept for
Yeah.
the postseason. We got classics last year. The
Right.
Dodgers and Blue Jays went to extras multiple times.
Such a
The
good time.
Tigers and Mariners game five of the ALDS, another extra inning game. So. I feel like that's where you don't do it, but I think regular season there's just so much baseball. You just have to kind of keep it moving, and yeah, it's unfortunate they lost because that was definitely a winnable game, and I do think if Skeens, was able to go 6 or 7 as he was on pace to do, they'd probably win. So I did not do that on
Yeah.
purpose, I promise you.
No, they would have won that game for sure. It would
No.
have been like because they literally gave up 5 runs the next inning. If Skeens would have probably won, like you said, 6 or 7
Right,
innings.
right.
And so yeah, they would have won hands down, like easy, like because they were carrying what, a 4 or 5 run lead,
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're up 4-0, yeah.
that, but like your bats cool off too. Like
Right,
whenever you go back in, it's tough to come back out there when you're in a flow. Then all of a sudden you have to come out and hit again.
Yeah.
right.
Just like I've had the pinch hit before in the past, and that's like a pain. Just coming into the game cold.
Yeah.
When you have to
It's
come
rough.
back in cold, it's
I tell you what, though, that was a good game, even though they lost. Gave a really good perspective in terms of what this team is actually capable of. Now, granted, there's the obvious middle relief is rough, and we have some solid dudes in that pen. Soto, Santana, and my boy Isaac Matson, an absolute dog out of the pen. We have some solid guys, but it's a very clear issue. And I remember saying to my friend that I was at the game with, I'm like, I would be genuinely impressed if they won this game using every single one of their worst pitchers out of the pen. I would be really impressed.
I think one thing you're seeing that too is me and Justin were also here for this game too. It was the not Cincinnati, Washington Nationals. They won
Right,
16 to,
Yep.
and
right.
that 10-run inning was the most runs they scored in an inning since 1989 when they scored 10 runs to open the game against the Phillies, in which they lost 15-11 that game.
Oh,
But they
Wait,
actually won this one.
wait,
Yeah,
time
go
out, time
ahead.
out, time out. I think didn't they score 10? I believe they scored 10 runs in 2017 against the Cubs in Chicago, if I recall.
Did they as well?
Yeah, I think they won that game though, but I'm pretty sure they did. It was like
Did
I
they?
think it was like around July or June of 2017. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they scored 10 runs in the first inning of that game
Sure,
too.
yeah. I looked into it too. I saw 10 for 1989. I didn't see
Okay.
the 2017 one, but I think you might be right.
you know a fun fact about that 1989 game?
What's that?
Have you heard the Jim Rooker story?
No, no.
I think it was Jim Rooker who was calling the game. They lost the game.
Right,
And
yeah.
and he actually walked home.
Yeah, I don't think he walked home from that game. I think he made that walk at a different time, like for charity or something.
He did it for charity, yeah.
Yeah,
My dad
but
was telling me about
yeah,
that. Now
that's
that I
a
think
that's such a fun little pirate story
No,
though.
you're right. You are right about that.
Even though they lost, the game itself was a good game. And I think it shows what this team is actually capable, at least offensively, because man, I mean, it's just so different this year. I mean, it's been years. I mean, it's been probably at least 8 years since, and it's almost like it feels foreign, the fact that like, oh, they're not actually out of this game when they're down 2 runs. It's like, oh wait, they're not actually out of this game. Like they could actually come back.
Right.
Whereas I feel like the last few years, it's like if you're down by 4 runs, it's like there's almost no chance that the Pirates are winning this game. And that
it's
was miserable for years. But they just kept hitting, man. They did. They kept doing it. They offensively they performed very well, even though they lost.
yeah, I just want to add something real quick. Something I've been saying too is like by adding Brandon Lau, career high 39 home runs, hit 31 last year, all-star and Ryan O'Hearn.
Dog.
You add all these players into your lineup. Connor Griffin's up now too. That these guys in your lineup, people like O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds are seeing more pitches. They're not getting pitched around now because it's like, wait a second,
Yep.
if we pitch around them, we're gonna have to face a 39 home run hitter in Brandon Lau,
Hmm.
or we're gonna have to face Ryan O'Hearn, or a heating up Marcell Ozuna who's hit 2 home runs in a week. So we'll see. I mean, now we're seeing, hey, O'Neal Cruz, maybe he just wasn't seeing enough pitches because he's mowing. He's hitting the ball. He's batting over 300, has 6 home runs. Reynolds, how many RBIs does he have already? He's playing good too.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
And
I
I
mean,
I think
yeah.
with those two specifically as well, there's probably an aspect of just some weight off of their shoulders.
Hmm.
I mean, O'Neal Cruz, frankly, he was just miserable last year. He was.
He was.
He was swinging at everything. And it really sucked to see because like we do love O'Neal Cruz. Like we want him to perform well. We want him to be a good ball player. last year he was miserable, and last year Reynolds, he wasn't really performing, and so I think having these guys in the lineup, like you were saying, it really takes a lot of weight off of them.
Yeah, pretty much just piggybacking. I mean, I put on the Yankees Pirates game from 2022, and it was a two-game series. The Pirates lost the second game 16 to nothing. And if you go back on that lineup and you look at some of the names that were on the field pitching, I mean it's night and day like compared to this team. And that's what's so frustrating, this whole rebuilding process. If they would have had a team like this like 3 years ago, like think of if they kept adding and developing players, talent in the minors, like where they could be now. They could probably be a playoff caliber team. And that's why I've always been so critical. It's just because they just took so long just to like sign players and make trades and bring in guys that can actually help your team and not guys that have been has-beens like they had been doing for quite some time. So their offense, I will say if I were to knock it, their situational hitting at times, I it still needs to be a lot better.
Mhm.
Runners in scoring position is still a bit of an issue, but besides that, like if you look at the totality of their numbers, they're a really good offense right now. And obviously, it's April, still have a long ways to go. But kind of pointing back to what you said, Ben, I never feel like they're out of a game now. You just have guys that are actually major leaguers and not guys that belong in
Yeah.
AAA. Like they a lot of times, 2020 is about 2023. A lot of their lineups were a joke. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They were a total joke, and it just
100%.
it's just refreshing to see like guys that are actually proven guys that are actually qualified to be a starters,
Yep.
and obviously defensively too. I don't they're not very good, just like as a whole. But I feel like if they can just play like competent baseball, we just the only thing they need to avoid is just the major gaffes, that swing games. If they can avoid that, I think they'll be okay. We all know the rotation's really good. It's been really good, and you still have Jared Jones, Seth Hernandez. I know he's still a ways off, but he's killing it in single A. So listen, the outlook's I think it's pretty bright. Just gotta continue to win games, and after this offseason, add more talent. And yeah, they should definitely there's definitely a window here to do some winning. So they just have to capitalize on it.
If you're just going off last year, Paul Skeens, I remember going to the Paul Skeens bobblehead night last year, and they faced the Guardians, and it was one of those games where they got runners on base. They felt like, oh, can they? You just knew, like, wait, they're not going to drive these guys in. You just knew that they weren't going to drive the people in.
Right.
Like I saw Ben Lively absolutely shut them down, and Paul Skeens takes a loss, only giving up 3 or 4 hits.
Yep.
And then, like last year, I saw Mitch Keller pitch a gem against Miami, and Sandy Alcantara, who, mind you, came into that game with a 7.89 ERA, shut them out. So it's like it's one of those things where this year now it's like you're not really seeing that. And it's not like, the Cole Tuckers or Eric Gonzalez batting fifth or Kai Tom batting fourth. Now you actually have legit all-star talent batting fourth or fifth. So
Yep.
I feel like I'm just preaching to the choir with you guys with that, but that's really how it is. Like, the days of Hunter Owen aren't here right now. So yeah.
So what do we think about Cook versus Garcia? That's still a sort of a question mark for me. I'd like to hear your guys' take on that. And then I think another question would be, does McCutchen have a place on this roster, hypothetically?
So Cook versus Garcia, I'm not gonna lie to you. I like Billy Cook right now. My reason being is because I think that, yeah, let's just say he cools off. He at least gives you good at bats. I think he gives good at bats up there. And I like the fact that he could play all three outfield positions and he could do them decently and he gives you an option at first base. So
Mm,
I like that flexibility out of him, but I also want Garcia to get some reps too.
yeah,
So right now, I just want to see a little more out of Cook first and see what's going on there.
that's fair.
In terms of McCutchen, Ozuna right now, I mean, now that he's heating up, he's not even like numbers wise. I know McCutchen started better, but like numbers wise, he's already there with him again. And so it's like, and he has 2 home runs now. And in my opinion, I do think Ozuna is an upgrade. but I also do think that like there's so many guys on this roster that, I mean, he would help against lefties. I do think that they could use him against lefties because that's like another area the Pirates lack is like they don't have a lot of players that can hit lefty pitching a lot. I mean, they've been doing good enough, but yeah, it would be tough though for him to find at bats on this roster. I think he honestly does fit Texas roster a lot more. They have like Wyatt Langford's probably their best outfielder, but they
Mm.
don't have like a lot of outfield depth. That was their biggest issue last year was outfield depth. And now adding McCutchen, he's probably DHing for them mostly.
Yeah, he's DHing.
But
Yeah.
but still like I think they have Jock Peterson too. He's probably batting the buck 20. I think he was batting the buck 20 last I checked. But
Charles.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like Jock Peterson, if he's DHing against the lefty, you can't DH him against the lefty, so you have to DH McCutchen. So
Yeah.
there's definitely more of a place for him on Texas.
Yeah.
But for the Pirates, like, yeah, I don't know if there's like a big spot for him, honestly. Like, I don't see where he would really fit in.
Yeah, I would say I do want to see some reps from Garcia just because he was a top 100 prospect, and I am intrigued because it seems like he does have some talent. But that's a good problem to have when you have guys that there's no room for at the moment. That means you have a solid team, a solid foundation depth, and
Yeah.
I keep going back to it. They haven't always had that, so I do want to see him at some point. But as far as McCutchen goes, listen, the current iteration of the Pirates, there's really no room for him. Ozuna's a DH, not very good defensively. When he's not playing, you have Reynolds and Cruz. They're probably
Horwitz,
DH.
yeah.
Horowitz. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this roster that could qualify as a DH. So I just adding another guy who's clearly lost a step with the bat. I know he's still productive getting on base. I understand that, but isn't really great defensively. I mean, he really never was if you look at the advanced metrics, but now he's just not. I don't think he'd be good at all in the outfield. There's a reason he hasn't played much of it the last few years. Still a fast guy for his age. If they didn't sign Ozuna and they had like no one else, I would take him back. But I think at this stage, it's not like there was 15 teams clamoring for his services. So listen,
Hmm.
he's like untouchable here, man. Whenever he retires, he can do anything with the Pirates. He can be a broadcaster. He can probably be a bench coach. Like they will probably give him anything he wants to do. Their wish is his command. It's just I just no, right now, no, just no. If he
Hmm.
gets cut and maybe some injuries happen, maybe, but that's the only way I see him back on the Pirates this year.
And I agree that giving Ozuna those reps, um, you know, even when he's not playing well, to split his time with somebody is just not how he's going to get back to a decent form. And it's something that we've seen with him. I mean, he has generally been a streaky player, and he's starting to heat up, which is good. I think a better question maybe would be, stepping outside of, how do I want to phrase it? Do you make a spot for McCutchen? Right? Like realistically, is this a playoff team? And do you make a spot for McCutchen pretty much understanding like this is probably his last season? Do you make that spot? Is this actually a playoff team?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think part of it too is like you have to see what Texas is going to do this year. I feel like they're a 50-50 team. They can definitely be in the mix, but last year was a disaster for them. So if it's All-Star break and they're just not really going anywhere, shoot, I could see maybe a scenario where that might work. But yeah, I mean, if they want to cut ties with him and they want to pick him up later in the year, like I'm not gonna be mad at that. I just think now. There's just really no room for him as a DH. I mean, Azuna, Cruz, Reynolds, Horowitz, they have a multitude of guys that can be a DH and produce at a higher level, honestly. I mean, he's only batting like 200 right now. I know he had a great series in Philadelphia, but that was like 3 weeks ago, and he hasn't done anything since. So I'm a McCutchen guy. Like, this is not me hating him.
Right.
I got his autograph when I was like 12 years old. That was he was like my
Oh
before I
yeah.
got like not that I worship him like a god, that's a bit
Right.
extreme, but he was like anytime I go to a Pirates game, it was like every time I went, it's always a different team, always a different team. But like he was like the one constant that was there for a long time. So that's where the attachment kind of formed. So I always there's always a soft spot in my heart, like just for like what he did in his prime.
Piggybacking off what you said too, with Texas too, is I very well could see them being a playoff team just because Seattle started slow. I think Houston took a step back. They gained a year. They haven't got what they wanted out of Christian Walker. He did okay last year, but not what he was doing in Arizona. Altuve's a year older. Jordan's killing it. He's always going to be killing it. Carlos Correa's a year older. Their pitching, you lose Framber. I mean, that's a big hit. Their rotation's not as good as it usually is.
They did get Mike Burrows though,
They did get Mike Burrows,
Yeah, he's
true.
not off to a good start,
who
by the
has
way.
gotten
Not off
shelled.
to a good start.
And that was a heck of a deal getting Lau and
Wow,
Mangum.
what a
Still can't
crazy
believe that.
deal that was. My
Um,
goodness.
but yeah, I just think though, with Texas, especially that division, I think it's so up in the air. You add Mackenzie Gore, and if DeGrom stays healthy, that's a good like 1-2 punch right there.
Hmm.
No,
So
it is. I just the Rangers, since their World Series championship, they've just kind of been there. That's why I
Yeah.
said 50-50. It's we're talking like it's like August. It's only April 20th, so like I do like want to not like overreact too much. Can they make the playoffs? Absolutely, but like any team, they could be terrible too. It's just all it takes is one or two injuries and your season's wrecked. So I maybe the Mariners are just gonna be regress this year and not be as good as they were last year, which is possible. Houston obviously isn't at the juggernaut it used to be. Just the amount of talent they've lost, and a lot of their best players still there are older. So yeah, maybe they can make the playoffs, and that's what I was saying. If they are in the playoffs, he wouldn't want to leave that situation. I don't think he would. So
Right.
the Pirates still have like a long ways to go. I think they can make the playoffs if a lot of things go their way. But it's April 20th. Like if they are still like within striking distance of the division in June, then I think I'll probably start to buy some stock. If August 1st they're still in the playoff hunt, then I'll probably officially 100% buy in. But I'm probably
Yeah.
about 65% right now. That's my stock in the Pirates making the playoffs.
That's
yeah,
a
I
good
think
number. Yeah.
I think like this year, other than like
Good
the
number.
Dodgers, honestly, other than LA. I don't have my stock in really anyone yet because I feel like every division, like if you look at the NL West, I think San Diego's looked pretty good so far.
They have.
Uh, and I think Arizona's also looked good too, so that's going to be interesting there. But then you also have the NL Central where you got all five teams over 500, and the Brewers are like actually at the bottom of it. But in my opinion, be the ones that are probably going to be the ones that rise to the top.
And then they'll lose in the first round and ruin my bracket again, like they do every year.
Yeah, exactly. And the Mets and the Mets gonna be bad forever. The Phillies are always known for starting slow but finishing strong. So it's
Right.
like there's just so much going on right now. And I was already talking about the AL West. I was talking about the Astros took a step back. Even though they took a step back though, they could still hypothetically win the division because they still have players.
Yeah.
It's just they're just not as good. And I think in my opinion. If we're talking about, I wanted to talk to you guys about, does this team worry yet? And the Mariners are one of those teams that I was going to talk about. I don't think they're a team that has to worry yet because they have so much talent and it's so early. And then, yeah, they're 8-13, but, you got Julio, Josh Naylor, Andy Arozarena was an all-star last year. Big dumper. I don't know, he's not going to hit 60 again, but he's still a good
No.
catcher too.
I
So,
mean,
in the rotation with Gilbert, Kirby, and Brian Wu, that's a good 1, 2, 3. So they got their other two off the top of my head, but yeah.
listen, he wasn't gonna hit 660 home runs back to back years. That is like extremely hard to do. If you look at his numbers, he's usually been in the 30 to 35 range. So that's probably where he'll end up. And listen, that's still elite for a catcher. For gosh sakes, he's people are like, oh, he's a great player. Now he was really good before last year. It was just he hit 60 home runs, so he got more attention. But no, he's always been a really good catcher. 8-13. That obviously not the start they want, but baseball's weird, man. Or just like I think a lot of people, I'm not saying you guys, that's not what I'm saying, but I think a lot of people online, I do look, they just put so much stock. Like people were freaking out over the Mets. And do I think the Mets are gonna win the World Series this year? No. But I still think they can make the playoffs. I mean, we're in April 20th, and it's just like all it takes is like a 7 game win streak, and you're like right back in it.
Yep.
And vice versa. All it takes is a 7 game losing streak, and you look like, oh, you're a juggernaut. Now you look like a garbage team. Like it's just baseball is ebbs and flows. The Pirates are
Yeah.
gonna go through it just like all 29 teams. Yes, even the Dodgers will have a losing streak. It's just part of the game. So I think the big thing is just mitigating those long losing streaks, limiting them maybe to 3 or 4 as opposed to 7 or 8, because that can really sink you, especially later on in the season. But the Mariners, I really don't have much concern with. Their roster's too good not to like pick it up. And I've always said baseball is kind of like divided into 3 quadrants. You have spring, where guys are still trying to figure themselves out, and then you have a few guys that are overachieving. Then you have like June and July. That's where everyone heats up because it's summer, weather's nicer, ball goes out more often. And then you have like August, September, October, that little phase there. Guys are just, it's a grind at that point. Guys are just trying to remain healthy, still trying to be productive. You know, guys are towering down. It's that time of year, end of the season. So it's just it's a game of war and attrition. It's very hard to maintain a high level for all 6 months, but yeah, I'm not gonna freak out over the Mariners. Mets maybe a different story, but the Mariners, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, what do you think about the Mets so far? I feel like talent-wise, they're nine deep, like if you look at their lineup, but
Yeah.
their pitching, I think, might be a concern,
Yeah. I mean, I think they have talent for sure. Um, like I was saying earlier, man, that first series, Pirates Mets, granted the Pirates weren't looking great, but the Mets were looking like a team. They were looking like a solid, solid team. And it just fell apart. And, that's kind of what they do. I mean, that's kind of the Mets' forte. They do something that ruins their season every year. That's just how they are. Um, but like you were saying, Justin, I mean, you look at I guess the 2019 Nationals, is that when they won the World Series?
Yes, 2019. That's
And
correct.
they basically, I mean, going into the All-Star break, they had practically a nothing percent chance of winning.
Right.
And they turn around and they won the World Series.
Right.
So, that's just to your point, man. Like that's how baseball is, and that's what makes it such a captivating sport, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I remember if I recall, they started out like 1931.
Yeah, they started off really bad.
Yeah, it was, and I thought, man, like I was thinking they might sell off all their best players, but
Right.
they stayed the course. And looking back, if you look at their roster, I mean, that was still a really good roster without Bryce
Yeah.
Harper. I mean, think of some of the players they've had. That at one point they had Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Juan Soto, Anthony Rendon when he was healthy. I'm probably missing someone. Ryan Zimmerman was still pretty good. I mean, they had a very good roster.
Yeah.
Gio Gonzalez,
Oscar, yeah.
Strasburg, Max Scherzer. I can go on and on. And
Yeah.
I'm glad they won that World Series though, because they had come up kind of short before, multiple times before then. So, Bryce Harper. I mean, maybe if he stayed that last year in DC, maybe he has a World Series ring. But yeah, that was to your point though. I do agree. It's the whole thing. You just got to keep fighting. And yeah, it's a long season. Teams that look garbage now might look great 2 months from now. I don't know if you're gonna mention this, but the Blue Jays, they're another team that's got off to a really bad start, if you ask me. They've looked really rough. I know a lot of their starters are on the IL, and I'm slightly more concerned with them just for the fact of like a potential hangover because they lost when they lost last year. That was it was in pretty devastating fashion, if you ask me. They were up 3-2.
Right.
They had chances to win Game 6 and Game 7, and the Dodgers, to their credit, made the plays when they had to. But I think a lot of people in Toronto probably like kicking themselves because they could have easily won that series too. If a few plays went differently, they definitely could have won the World Series. But I don't know if you guys think Toronto's what you think about Toronto, if you maybe have any thoughts or not. But that was another team that was coming to mind when I thought
Yeah.
disappointing start so far.
yeah. For me, I was also going to talk about First things first, Patrick Corbin. Prime Patrick Corbin was a beast for Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, I
That's
forgot.
first.
I forgot. Yeah.
Such a tank. But I did want to ask, I did want to say just about the Mets. It's like they're also going through an adjustment period. And trust me, I'm going to the Blue Jays with this point too. You're losing cornerstone pieces, Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso. You don't just replace cornerstone. These
The,
guys all came up through their system.
the Jeff McNeil part was a joke, right?
Hey, he was still there for years though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Mo and Alonso, I agree, but Jeff McNeil, come on, man, let's get serious.
Hey, he was good.
He's a crybaby and
He
he's
is a crybaby.
trash at baseball. So, and I hope he sees this.
Hey, you
No,
never know. Never say
no.
never.
Pete Alonso, though, think about it. I mean, the amount of home runs he hit. Brandon Nimmo was a
Yeah, Nemo is a dog
was
for
a
real.
legit dog last
Yeah,
year, whole season.
he's been a
Years,
dog.
yeah, he's been,
He's been a
and
dog.
he came up. Another player came up through the thing, so you don't
Yep.
just replace that. But one of the players they did replace him with was Bo Bichette, who is a really good player. He started slow.
He's not a third baseman, by the way.
No,
No, he's a good player. He's,
No, he is.
not performing to what he's been paid, but he's a good player.
but yeah, but with Toronto, it's the same thing. You lose Bo Bichette,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you can't just lose like that and then just come back and then all of a sudden you're amazing. And you also have to remember too, George Springer had his best year since leaving Houston last year.
Mhm.
Right.
Bo Bichette came back into the playoffs, and whenever he came back, he had some pretty clutch home runs.
Right.
Savage pitched amazing. Everything was clicking at the end of the year, and it's like. Now all of a sudden, oh, you have to start back over.
Yep.
You're 0-0 again after being this close to winning the World Series. Vladdy's gonna do Vladdy things again, but Addison Barger had a huge year. But it's like, what do you do the next year? Me personally, I think he's gonna be good again. But is he gonna be how like is he though? You know what I mean? Like I think he is, but will he? Like it's just another one. It's like one of those things where that's the first time you've seen that out of Addison Barger.
Mhm.
You lose Bo Bichette, you're banking on Akamoto, who came over from Japan. Like you have all these players, coming in now. It's a fresh start, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. But at the same time, the Orioles got Pete Alonso now. They got better this year.
Mhm.
Yankees are the Yankees, in my opinion. I think they're always going to be my favorite to win that division. I know you didn't like that.
No, you just they're not going to,
Yeah, yeah,
right? They're just not.
yeah,
I mean, let's just get over it. The
yeah,
dynasty is gone. They traded away all their prospects for win now, and they didn't win now. And we can all laugh about it, except for
yeah,
Tony.
yeah. No, I do think the Yankees though. I think the Yankees though. You have Bellinger, Chisholm, short porch ballpark.
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like
Stanton on the bases. Oh my gosh, he's a dog.
I do think though. I think they do have. I think they always have a chance to
I
win
love
the
Stanton,
division
by the
though.
way.
Yeah,
I love Stanton, by the way.
he's good.
I feel very bad that he's playing out the way he is.
I think you want the. He's had some good seasons for New York
No,
though.
he has. He
He
has. I
has.
just feel bad that he can't run anymore. I love
Yeah.
Stanton. I've always loved
Well,
him back in Miami. I really have.
but when he was in Miami though, he was trucking around the
Oh,
bases.
he's a dude.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's like built like a tight end, and like it was a 59 home run season.
Oh.
But yeah, no. I just think though with the Blue Jays though, regardless if you think the Yankees are gonna win it or not,
Hmm.
they're they're gonna be competitive. The Red Sox are gonna be competitive like always.
Race
So
too.
yeah. So I mean Toronto, yeah, the Rays, Tampa as well. So yeah, we'll see.
That's why I was saying though. It's just like you have. This is what I talk about like in sports. When the iron's hot, you have to strike because next year's not guaranteed. Like
Yep.
you always say that with the NFL. Like the Patriots, to me, like they feel like a perfect candidate to regress made significantly this year. Not because I don't think they were good. It just happens. There's a lot of factors that are out of your control. Whether it's injury, guys just aren't as good as they were last year, and that's part of the Blue Jays problem too. Maybe it's not a problem yet, but like you mentioned, Trey Savage started the year last year, the minors, ended up pitching in the World Series by the end of the season. Okay, that's great. He was awesome, But now the expectation is going to be, oh, well, are you going to be like a dark horse Cy Young candidate this year? Or Barger, are you going to take another step forward? And you have no Bo Bichette either. So it's like, oh, Vladdy, time for you to reestablish yourself as one of the best players in baseball.
Yep.
George Springer, where you at, bro? And then it's like, well, then you look, you're relying on Max Scherzer, who's like 50 years old, and then Shane Bieber's on IL, and then Kevin Gausman hasn't been as good as he was last year. It's just like, oh, well, oh shoot, like we're not off to a good start, and it's not too late. It's still April. They could definitely turn it around, but like it's just I do think it's a bit concerning. I'm not gonna freak out over it. Still plenty of baseball, but there's something to be said about that. The only team I can really ever think of in sports in recent memory, I don't, I'm gonna have some recency bias here, that really didn't crack the year after was San Antonio Spurs. They lost to the Heat in that 7 game series. Next year, came back, played the Heat again, absolutely wiped the floor with them. That's like one of the few instances I can recall, unless you guys have another team that just had like a horrific like series-ending loss, and then follows it up the next year with like redemption. Maybe Virginia basketball, men's basketball is another
Used to be
example too.
NBC.
Yeah,
Did the Warriors count? Did the Golden State Warriors count?
uh, mm.
Losing 3-1, then but then they signed KD.
Now if they would have not signed KD, I think you'd. I just that's sorry. To me that doesn't. It counts, but there's like a huge asterisk to it. I don't care what anyone says. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right though. It's there's been a lot of teams that have got scratched the surface and it just can't like once they tasted it, like
Right.
you know, couldn't get over the hump. So
Yeah. No, and I hope they pull through, man. That is a really good fan base. Toronto has some good sports fans. We can, critique whether they're like ethical or not, but like as far as being loud and passionate about their teams, they're definitely up there. Just look at you're gonna see it this weekend with the Raptors and Cavs, Jurassic Park. It's gonna be quite the sight. So no, I've always pulled for Toronto sports. I know they don't get the respect because they're not American teams, but they're still a professional team, so they should get respect. But I hope they bounce back. I really do.
yeah, I was pulling for him last year,
Yeah,
but Dodgers just did the little things right, honestly.
pretty much. Yeah,
I mean, you can't just leave 14 runners on base and expect to win any game.
Right.
So, and it's just
you can't
like
get picked off at second base bottom of the ninth inning either.
yeah, and then another thing too was like whenever they had a runner on second and Vladdy reached for that one pitch and popped it up, I think. And
Yeah,
so they kind of let's just try to advance this runner over. So
Yeah.
yeah, but at the end of the day, I think the Dodgers are just gonna be. I think they're the only clear-cut team right now that, and it's like it's just because you bought Tucker and all these players,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah,
like,
I mean they're elite. They're like that's an actual dynasty right now.
hmm
yeah.
Um,
It's what three World Series in the past like 6 years. So
yeah,
yeah, that is a dynasty.
yeah,
hmm
it is. Um, yeah, I think I probably gotta dip out of here in a few minutes.
yeah, yeah,
So I want to loop back to the Pirates for a minute,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
present a question to you guys. And so it's we have Connor Griffin and we have Paul Skeens. Now, Connor Griffin, he's starting to show up a little bit. He's starting to, maybe get comfortable, whatever. He's starting to hit a little bit, and that's good. And he's young. I mean, I don't think anyone is really like super worried about him not performing the way that maybe we expected him to. I don't think anyone is super worried about that yet. And so let's just I want to present a question to you guys. I want to put Connor Griffin's performance aside right now, and let's just, pretend that we're a couple weeks back from where we are today. Do you prioritize Griffin over Skeens on a contract? Is
Oh,
there any realistic way that you're signing Paul Skeens? Do you try to use that money for Paul Skeens over Connor Griffin? My personal my personal take on Skeens, real quick before you guys, get into it. Skeens he is objectively special. Like he is not like any rookie pitcher or rookie anything that you see. He's actually a generational talent. Um, if he stays anywhere close to the way that he's been performing since he's been in the league, there's just there is a 0% chance he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame. Like he is actually amazing. And it's kind of like the Angels, losing Otani type situation. It's like Otani is gonna, and granted, like, he kind of had some ups and downs with the Angels. He kind of had some injury stuff, and so it was kind of maybe a little bit in the air with Otani on the Angels, but like I feel like you still kind of know like it's not someone you want to get rid of, right? And obviously they weren't able to hang on to him. And so I feel like with signing Griffin, that basically solidifies that you're probably not even going to give an offer to Skeens. And so it feels to me like that money you should have been trying for Skeens first. And I think it's realistically the Pirates are not going to have him long term. And like, what do you think? I mean, do you really push for that, or is putting that money to Griffin, is that more of a realistic move? What do
I'm gonna
you,
be totally honest with you, dude. I think Griffin was the right move, not because I don't think he's, the better player. I'm not saying that, but I just think the writing's on the wall. I mean, if we're just gonna be real about it,
right,
he's gonna be an all-time great pitcher as long as he stays healthy. Like that's
right.
best pitcher of this generation if he stays healthy. I do believe that, but it's just his starting price is gonna be like $40 a year, $40 million a year. That's gonna be starting price. So you're gonna have to,
Oh, he's gonna get
unless
sick.
he's gonna take a hometown discount, which for a player of his status I would not do
Nah,
because he can
I
make
don't think.
bank.
Yeah, I don't think
He
he's
might he
gonna.
might be the first $500 million pitcher we have. Like he's that
Oh,
good. Like I
okay,
mean we're that's a serious possibility. So I don't know if the Pirates, do you really want to commit $500 million over a guy that might, no, that scrap that. That's a stupid take. They should honestly like try to sign him. Like I'm with you. I just don't think it's gonna happen because
right.
A, there's other teams that are gonna have more money and they're just gonna throw whatever at Dodgers. Like he has
There's Yankees. Somebody's gonna grab him.
Dodgers, Yankees. That it just. I feel like he's probably gonna be a Dodger because I think he grew up in California. That just. I hate saying that. I have no joy in saying that. I wish he'd be a Pirate for life, but the reality is, I mean, Garrett Cole, for as good as he was, I mean, that had no chance of happening either. So
Yeah,
it
but
just
Garrett Cole was like not even anywhere close to what
no,
Paul.
no, yeah, no, for sure. Garrett Cole didn't even really break out,
Oh, he
till
was
many
honestly
years later.
not
Yeah.
even that great here.
And
No, yeah, right, right.
the issue they had with Garrett Cole was they had a pitching coach that wanted him to throw the fastball 24% of the time, and he increases that rate to 50% with Houston,
Well,
Cy,
yeah,
Cy
right.
Young winner. So I think he still is not in the same stratosphere as Skeens, though. And in my opinion, he's a Cy Young caliber player.
Oh, you won the Cy Young though. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like he literally won a Cy Young, and so he went from yeah, he's a Cy Young winning pitcher. However, he wasn't an MVP caliber. In my opinion, Paul Skeens was the most valuable player last year. I said that last year and I said it this year. I
Mhm.
mean, if you put Paul Skeens on the Dodgers, he has 24 or 25 wins.
Oh
Like,
no, yeah. This is not me saying Garrett Cole's better or on the same level.
Right.
I'm just saying like
No, I
I'm just going off a framework of how they've handled
yeah.
really good players, like great players in the case of Cole and Skeens. And
right.
I just there's just
And they weren't even able to.
their opportunity to extend him would have had when he got drafted. They should have signed the contract right then. That was their chance. And no one knew he was gonna be this good. I mean, he had potential, but like I don't think anyone thought he'd be this good. I mean, best pitcher in baseball is rookie year, arguably. So it's just like I don't know if this lockout. I don't know if that will increase their chances of retaining him long term. I hope
Mhm.
it does, but I doubt it. I mean, it's not like they're gonna magically come up with more money. But I
And
just
it doesn't help the Pirates cost him that Cy Young his rookie year too.
Right, right.
Has the extra 4 to 5 starts he could have had,
Yep.
he may have been able to rack up more strikeouts than Chris Sale,
Yep.
or rack up more. Not he wasn't going to rack up more wins with that roster, but
Right.
maybe he could have bolstered his resume a little bit and get that wins above replacement up, which voters love now so much.
Yeah.
But Paul Skeens though, like they need to throw as much at him as they can because I mean it's making them money too because every time he pitches they sell it out
Right.
and they make sure that the tickets are as expensive as possible when he pitches. And then on top of that too, you get all the bobblehead sales, so he's a money maker for them. And they obviously know that. And I just remember, the Brewers, the two other rookie of the year candidates was Jackson Chorio and and Merrill,
Right,
double Jacksons. But anyways, they both got their contract extensions as soon as
Yeah.
the season ended. And
right.
so I was thinking to myself, wait a second, why aren't the Pirates extending him?
Yep.
Maybe they did try, but the price tag is just nowhere near where he wants it yet.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's going to be able to make $60 million a year, and
Yep.
so I think that you got to try. The question is, will they? I hope maybe they will, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. And you asked about, is Griffin the right pick to prioritize. I think, in my opinion, they probably did prioritize Skeens. It's just that his asking price isn't what Griffin's is. They capitalized on Griffin at
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
He wasn't even a top five pick. He was, ninth
Yeah.
pick in the draft. They did something very similar when for example, the Braves, were the kings of it. You extend Ozzie Albies, they were only paying him $7 million a year for a 7-year deal, which for him that was a steal. They did the same thing with Connor Griffin, and I think like, you see it in Boston with Ceddanne Rafaela. One of the Brewers prospects just got signed an extension, a pretty big deal too. So I think it's just more of a common thing. And if you look at the price tag for 15 mil, let's just say he does turn into like a Bryce Harper type player or like a Mike Trout type player. Then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, 15 mil for someone that's batting, 280 with 30 home runs? What a bargain. And
Yeah.
then if he doesn't, oh, well look at Key Brian Hayes, for example. You paid him $10 million a year, but you were able to get rid of his contract. And so it's not really even high risk because 15 million, like, yes, that's a lot for when people hear, oh, $15 million. Obviously, it's a lot, but in baseball standards, it
Yeah.
really isn't a ton. And if he ends up being
It's
a
pretty tough.
stud, then hey, so be it. He's a stud, and you got him for 9 years.
I
Yeah.
do want to be clear though. Like, I do think they should absolutely do everything in their power to sign Skeens. Like
Right.
I listen, that type of talent doesn't walk through that doors very often. I mean, really, the last generational player they've had, I mean, is probably Barry Bonds, if we're gonna be honest. Like truly, like generational. Yeah, you can't just let those guys walk, but at the same time, like it's just. I know how this story, I just know how this ends, and it's just like that's like really unfortunate that I have to think like that. But when you're a fan
Yeah.
of a team for 20 plus years and you see them get good players, develop good players, and then they're shipped off for guys that aren't as good. It just I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I would honestly rather them just to spare the nonsense that is going to come out of it. I'd rather just have them let him walk than trade him. That's as stupid as that sounds. I would rather have that because the return is not going to be there. You just can't match that type of talent. I don't care how many top 100 prospects you throw out there. Those are a bunch of unknown commodities, man. And I just think
Yeah.
like you said, look at Ohtani with the Dodgers. You're thinking like, oh, they signed him to a $700 million contract. Are they out of their freaking minds? No, they're not. Because look, they've won back-to-back World Series, and he's generated a crap ton of money for them. So they've already made that
Oh
$700 million
yeah.
back easily. So it's just like I feel like with Skeens, I don't know if because Otani has the Japanese market too, and they're very very big and large. I know Skeens probably wouldn't have the same like crazy impact in Pittsburgh as LA and Japan, but still, you know, if they signed him to a $500 million contract, which I mean they probably could, they'd probably have to finagle some finances, but I mean. just I'm just thinking like doing that. I'm not saying it the fans would trust front office any more than they already do or don't. But it's just like, oh, well, we're actually making a conceded effort here to retain one of our best players, and we're being dead on serious on trying to like establish an identity and culture and not be the same old pirates that everyone thinks that we are. And I just think like, but the problem is like the owner doesn't think like that. He's always thinking about is just money, 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 and how much money I can pocket. Like it's, and that's a shame because if you keep schemes around and they make the playoffs and they have winning seasons and they field competitive teams, the money would be there anyway. So like, why not try and just do everything in your power to extend, your best players? And Cruz is another guy too. Like I know defensively he's not very good, but just considering the start he's off to this year, like I don't know, they might want to consider throwing an offer his way too. That's just a thought.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, signing Griffin for what they got him for, I mean, it was probably good. I think it just really sucks knowing, and this is probably how the Angels felt because the Angels fans felt because, they let Otani walk. They kept him up to the last game. They didn't trade him. They let him walk.
And they could have traded him
And they
too.
could have.
I
They
mean,
easily could have, and they let him walk. And it just sucks because it's like, man, we still got years, like a few seasons with Paul Skeens, and it's like, but he's not gonna be here. Like he's not gonna be here long term. And I don't know. It's just hard because he's such like that talent where it's like, how can you let that walk? But sometimes the money just,
I want to be a pirate for life, man. There's just too many
yeah.
times in like the sports culture today. Not there's really no, I don't want to say loyalty because I think that's kind of overrated too. But you don't ever really see it. A guy playing an entire career with one team. It's just very rare, and that's why the Pirates
Yeah.
haven't had that in a very long time either. So I think it's good once in a while to have a player stay with the team for an entire duration. I do think it's good every once in a while, but I don't see it happening. I
Yep.
hope I hope I hope I'm so wrong because if I am, I'll be the first person to raise my hand and say, "Hey, bro, my bad. I was wrong."
well, Pirates have had some players. Jason Jaramillo played his career here.
What, like
So
3 years?
yeah,
Gregory
so
Polanco, he played his career here.
he
Pretty
did.
much, yeah, you did. Yeah.
Who else? Any other big names?
Oh, shit.
Philip Evans. Did he? Or did we
No,
get him from the Cubs?
we got from the Mets,
The
right?
Mets, that's who it was,
Oh
yeah.
boy. Yeah.
Philip
Gosh.
Evans.
I just heard Gregory Plonk and I just remember when he clotheslined him for fun. So you remember that play? That
That
was
was that 2020, 2021?
2020. Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, Paul Skeens will be a Yankee one day.
You
And
think?
the dynasty will come back.
No, well, Paul Skeens
Gosh.
will never bring that dynasty back to New York.
No one can
They're
really,
cooked.
honestly. They are honestly they had a chance in that World Series, and
24, yeah.
I just think the Dodgers ever since winning that, and then they won last one. It just
Yeah.
we're just all living in the Dodgers world. There's no point in even podcasting. I just think it's just gonna be what we're just gonna be talking baseball. Is this team gonna have a chance? It's just gonna be the Dodgers.
No, I will
God,
say, okay, so I will say it's baseball, so there's a lot of weird things that can happen. So I just
it's true.
all,
100%.
all it takes is to show him. I'm not wishing this. I'm knocking on wood that this does not happen. All it takes is for a catastrophic injury to one of their best players, and
Yeah.
if Ohtani gets hurt, I would not pick him to win. No chance.
Genuinely though, I will say Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, even Kyle Tucker to a degree, even Shohei Ohtani to a degree, they're not getting any younger.
No.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
how
somehow
long are they gonna
somehow
be?
Freeman is that fine wine, dude.
He just keeps
He
hitting
keeps
good.
getting older and he's
Yeah.
just so good.
Yeah.
Who has
So
Like,
I do want to retract what I just said. I don't think there's no chance because that's still a really good roster, but like I just think their chances are significantly reduced if he's hurt. But I'm not manifesting that. I'm just playing hypothetical there. But continue.
right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, anyone can win at the end of the day though. Like the Blue Jays did have them. Like
Yeah, Blue
they
Jays have
have
That's what I'm
them.
saying.
all the chance in the world to
Like
win.
so, I mean the 2019 Nationals beat them a lot. Like Like the one year the Braves won the World Series with 80 win, like what, 88
I think it was like
wins,
86, 87, 80 wins.
86,
Yeah.
yeah, around in that range.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not gonna be young forever, so that's one thing you could bank on. But at the
Right.
same time, that core is good. Like Mookie did take a slight step back, but he's still Mookie Betts. Like
Right.
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
so an
Red
amazing
Sox.
athlete. Not
Yeah,
even just a baseball
he can
player,
play
just an
anywhere.
athlete in general, man. That
Yeah.
dude's amazing.
So, but yeah, that's all I got today.
Yeah,
I
I was gonna say one more thing. I mean, just about the last year Dodgers. Even the Phillies could have beat them. I mean, every game was like could have won 50-50. The
Yeah,
Phillies were in every game. They lost in extra innings. I think it was game what 3 or 4 on a bad throw home from the pitcher.
Orion. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a tie game for most of the night. So it's just like that's why I said it's like they did the little things right when it mattered. And yeah, it's just baseball. Sports are funny like that. It's just like one play here and there. If you F up, man, that's the difference between winning and losing a game. So, that's just how the Dodgers roll. They don't they're clutch under pressure. So that's all I wanted to say. Sorry.
Andy Pajes. I don't think Kike was having that ball. The one Pajes caught.
If that was any other team, that ball drops. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Pajes.
Yeah.
I like Pajes. He
Yeah.
walked to Spanish worship music, so I respect it.
He's
So
he's having a great year this season. I think he leads the majors in RBIs so
he
far.
was an all-star snub last
He
year.
should have
That
been. He had a good year last year.
It
He's a
was
really good player.
ridiculous. It's just because his name was Pajes and not Otani. If his last name was Otani, Freeman, or Betts, he would have been in it. But
No,
it's
I think a lot more people know his name. So I think if he keeps up the rate he's at now, he's definitely gonna make the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I
You can
take
bank on
Andy
that.
Pajes. Yeah.
Absolutely, he's probably our best. Even the Pirates' best outfielder by a
Yeah.
mile.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But anyways, thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good time.
Yeah, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me,
Do it
guys.
again.
Yeah.
Sir.
And for the viewers out there, we're gonna try to get a baseball podcast rolling once a week. So keep staying tuned, and thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you for joining as well, Justin.
Absolutely.